Hello, today we are making some lamb steaks. You just cut in these sizes here. So what you need to do is just carefully get it to cut not more than this thickness here, because you don't want them too thick or too thin. This is just about the right size. So when we cook it just a little bit, it will only require 15 to 20 minutes of cooking, and it will be all tender and juicy, and all the spices will be locked in. So first of all, you need to wash it, but when you are washing it, you need to make sure that all these stay intact. So you just open up the tap in a very low pressure and just run it through and scrub it just a little bit, just to clean whatever you think that it shouldn't be eaten. You just clean it off, rinse it gently, and you can use that strainer there to put it in, and so on and so forth. Okay, after washing all of that, let it to strain out, and then these are the main ingredients you're gonna be using. Fresh garlic, something like just medium sized 2 bulbs, just peeled, and just a piece of fresh ginger, something like about 2 inches or so. So that will go in nicely. Don't need to chop it at this stage. And also from any superstore you can get one of these steak herbal blend spice. So this is very easily available, and it's not very costly either. Everything, whatever you need, is already blended. So basically these are the main ingredients. So you add them into this and you get it chopped just like that, which I've just made it. And you can use one of your mixer and blender, and this is how it will come off. All of this goes in with something like about up to here, just small water to make it just this tender, and pour in 2 of these for 1.5 kilo of lamb steaks. So you just make it and blend it thoroughly until it becomes really good, nice paste. Okay, the next step will be all the excessive water is getting drained out. So meanwhile, all the washed out steaks should be coming up like that, nice and clean on the both side, and still holds its place and its shape. So what the next step is, the paste you just prepared, you can I'm going to use my hands, but please ensure that they are pretty much nice and clean. So you can just use a bits just to rub on them gently on each piece individually, that all the spices go in there nicely, and you're going to have to leave them marinated for a period of about 45 to 1 hour. And just leave it there. You add some more spices, make sure it all gets into all of it, and it stays there. It will be your own choice, how spicy do you want. If you want to add few more spices, you can at this stage, and just leave it soak it like that and leave it there, and on top of each other you can just use the other ones, unless all of them they are nicely cut in. You can use this, nice and easy, rub it in all the way. All the spices must go in equally, and not too much excessively, but just blend it enough so all the spice come out in an equal taste when you're eating it. Then you can just lay it on top of each other. whatever is left over, you can actually pour on top of it just to make it marinated well and full of fragrance, and the aroma will be locked in properly. So whatever is left in, you don't throw it away, you just spread it equally and nicely on top of it, and it will just come out as very aromatic and full of flavor. Once it's coming up like that, what you need to do next, you just use the kitchen foil, just a standard one, and then you just lock it all the way up, completely airtight, and leave it in your room temperature, which should not be exceeding more than 16-18 degrees to be honest, and leave it there for about an hour to hour and a half.
Go.
There, as you can see, it's completely locked in. All the flavors and the aroma will be locked in, and as I said earlier, you just leave it there for about 1.5 hours, and we'll come back to you shortly.
Stop.
Right, the next step is, for your frying purposes, take a larger pan there, flat surface, but we need to ensure that it is also covered with using the kitchen foil again, so let's do that. Because the pan is a little bit wider, and if you are using a little less wide foil, so you can take 2 pieces there, and you need to just put it on top of each other and just make it into one larger and wider foil, and you will see in a minute why am I doing that. Now you can see how it's been joined together to make it a wide enough thing to cover the entire pan, just like that. So you just place it in a dried pan. The pan should be absolutely dried and clean beforehand. So you just place that, put together foil, 2 pieces together, and you just put it in there, just like that. And your pan is now ready for cooking. So once the pan is ready, you need to make an identical sheet once again to use it a lid. So when we are frying, we don't want any air to escape, and all the flavors shall still be locked in while it is cooking. So make another one just like that for a lid purpose, unless you have something big enough to cover it while it is cooking. So let's do that.
Go. So after about an hour and a half,
we come back again to it. It has settled quite a bit. All the spices, I believe they have gone settled into the meat itself. It's really smelling absolutely phenomenal. On the pan, I have put it down onto the degree 12, make it on the high heat, and then you will require vegetable oil, any type of cooking oil you can use. You need to just, for the frying purposes, you just pour it on top of this foil after it has been heated up correctly. So you just pour about 3 to 4 tablespoons really, but I use my own approximate, so it should be fine. And now you just settle it all over in your pan. You can see it's nice and evenly spread all over. And after you spread it, you just reduce the heat to about 7 or 8. And now it's time to do the cooking. Right, I believe that's hot enough for us to leave it into the pan now. Take one piece at a time. Nice and easy. And you can just place it into the pan just like that. And as you can hear a little bit of sizzling, that's the sound that the temperature is sufficient, and we can just leave it there. Since this is a little bit larger pan, you can put about 2 to 3 pieces at a time. And just by doing that, I think this can take up to 3 to 4 pieces. So you just take 3 for now. So these are fairly large pieces there. And once you're done there, cover it up, because it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes for these to sort out. And spread the oil evenly so that goes all underneath into it. And you just cover it with the foil lid we made earlier. And we will come to it in about 10 minutes time. Since this one is cooking, so meanwhile, instead of wasting time, we can just make the preparation where we can actually leave the cooked and processed items. So for that, you need to have a nice clean big plate and a large enough foil again. If you have some kitchen roll on top of it, that's absolutely fine, so that will soak up all the excessive oil. And this foil is basically used for it to keep it warm enough, or hot enough rather, for you to serve it later on. So that's absolutely done there. And by the way, the heat was a little bit lower, so I had to turn it up a little bit. That is at the moment between 9 and 10, so which is fine, and you can hear the sound in the background. And let me just quickly show you how is it looking while it's cooking. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes so far. So this is how they are going. They're looking absolutely gorgeous. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Okay, so that's been almost about 8 to 10 minutes so far. Let's see how is it going. Well, it's going rather well. The aroma is there. It seems tender enough already. You just turn them over and see. And this is really nice and spicy at the moment. It feels tender enough. It's not getting burnt. That's the main thing you need to be worried about, that it shouldn't really get burnt. And it should be cooked evenly on all 3 pieces there. So you just turn them over and give it a little bit more time, maybe another 10 to 12, 15 minutes maximum, and we'll return to it again. But before we do that, we just need to make sure all the oil is still in the base of all of these, and we will just secure the lid again, and we will return to you again. so that's how it comes out after about 20 odd minutes. It's up to you. If you want to cook it more, you can leave it another 4 or 5 minutes, but just make sure that they don't get burnt out, because they do very quickly. So just every now and then you keep on opening up the lid, the foil, and just stirring the oil. Make sure if you need to change the sides, it's evenly done. So let me show you how it's tender. So this knife I'm only using to cutting for you to see how tender it is. Don't use it when you are eating it. Let's just use the normal standard eating fork and knife. But this is only for you to see that this is all how tender it is. There you see, as you can see, it is all up there. With all the juices intact, and that's how it is. Very tender, full of juices, all the nutritions are there, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and please don't forget to subscribe.